Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Minister Ginger London. Thank you so much for joining me. We're doing an early recap of today's Diamond Life Coach Challenge, where we're doing an encore teaching, where we are giving you a little excerpt from day one. So, during this challenge and during this Life Coach Challenge, this is a Life Coach Challenge where you actually are learning to how to use your spiritual gifts, your talents, your knowledge to help bring transformation into the lives of others. And so, to this early evening, we were supposed to go on a little bit later, but we had to come on early due to some unexpected situations. And so, we're going to recap day one. Um, you still have an opportunity to register for the Coach Challenge. You will see the link to register scrolling at the bottom here, and it's also placed in the description of the recap. So just click on it and go to that page and register, and you can catch us from days 2 through 5. This is a 5 day challenge. And so most of us, and not most, all of us have spiritual gifts. We have most of us have talents, and most of us have knowledge that we can use to help bring transformation into the lives of others. And so that's what the challenge is about. That's what we're going to be doing for the next 5 days. And so I just want to give you a quick recap. I'm going to talk to you about what's going to take place over the 5 days and then actually what we're going to talk about just briefly on this evening from day one. So, over the next 5 days, we're going to be talking about the first day, the whole mind, body, and spirit life coach. That's every part of your being a part of the life coach, as a life coach. You have to bring every part of who you are into being a life coach. If you're going to offer that service, whether it's something you're going to do on a full time basis or something that you're using to bring additional revenues into your life, or maybe you're using it to actually in your ministry of some sort. Day two, we're talking about the coaching basics and then coaching business. So we'll give you a little snapshot of what the basics look like in coaching, and then what does a coaching business look like. Day three, we can talk about let your gift make room for you. No one knows what you don't tell them that. No one knows you have something that you don't tell them you have, right? I can't look at you and just automatically know that you're gifted in a particular area. You have to say, with confidence, what the gift is that God has shared with you or entrusted to you. All right, and then on day four, we're going to talk about coaching conversations. So I'll give you a snapshot into the 5 tiers of a diamond coaching conversation and what that looks like. And then on day five, we're going to talk about coaching for results, right? And then we have a live Q&A where you can ask questions. Coaching for results is just that. You want to be able to see the results in the lives of those people that you come into contact with. You want to be able to hear their testimonies. You want to be able to share in their accomplishments, their joys, even their setbacks. You want to be able to uh, experience all of that with the coaching client or the person that you're coaching, so that you can see the fruit of your labor, so that you can see the results of what you're actually doing. And so let's move into an excerpt from today. Today we talked about the whole mind, body, and spirit life coaching. What does that mean when we say the whole mind, body, and spirit life coach? And so what I mean by that is this. We're going to start with the mind. What do you think and believe about yourself? Right? What do you think and believe about yourself? Whatever that is exactly what you're going to bring to the coaching session, right? To your clients. So if your thought life or what you believe about yourself is not godly, right? If it's self-destructive, if it's limiting in any way or form or fashion, you want to clear that up before you actually start to coach people, before you start giving them any suggestions about anything. You want to make sure that you actually know what you think about yourself and what you believe about yourself. Can you see yourself through the eyes of God? Can you believe that you are gifted enough and trained enough and knowledgeable enough to help other people experience a transformation in their lives? And then who am I? Who am I being? Two important questions when you're talking about You, the coach, not the client, but you. Who am I and who am I being? In other words, who am I? Who has God created me to be? And then who am I being addresses whether or not you're living in your created purpose, or are you living according to what other people say about you, what you should be doing, what you're, are they telling you what your gifts are? Are they telling you what you should be doing with your life? So, who am I being? Am I being the person that God created me to be, or am I being the person that someone else has um, said that I should be, or they're trying to form me into who they think I should be? So you really have to examine yourself. And then how am I taking care of myself? That's body, right? How am I taking care of myself? You won't be a good coach if you're fatigued, if you're tired, if you're worn out, if you're emotionally and spiritually drained in any capacity, you won't function well as a coach. So, are you exercising your body? Are you eating healthy? Are you making sure that you're putting the right substance in to your body? And and are you taking care of the temple? That's important. Are you taking care, not just in that way, but are you also setting aside some time where you can actually meditate, where you can actually care for yourself, do whatever it is that you need to do to make sure that you're taking care of the temple. Do you have quiet moments, throughout the day? Can you set aside a day off, during the week where you can just focus on yourself and just begin to take care of and improve anything mentally or physically about yourself that needs that special attention? And then spirit, have I been transformed, right? As a coach, if you say you want to be a transformational coach, the question is, have you been transformed? Have you gone through a transformation so that you will know what that's like, right? Not just doing it and then hoping that you recognize it in your client. Have you been through a transformation? Can you tell the client that there are areas in my life that I've experienced transformation, myself? Has my mind been renewed, right? When you have a renewed mind, transformation takes place because that starts on the inside. And then the last question is, am I ready to create a vibrant, transformative space for others? Am I ready to create a vibrant, transformational space for others? Is it a safe space when my clients coach with me, or when they come to me for ministry concerns, or if you're on your job and you're a executive coach, you're coaching a team on your job, is that space safe for them to have a transformation experience when they come to speak with me as a coach, no matter what genre or capacity of coaching you're doing? Is that space safe? Is it creative? Is it vibrant? Is it conducive for transformation? And is it encouraging? Is it motivating? What is it that will help people to literally want to say that they are actually in that capacity of being safe in your presence, right? And that they know that whatever change that they need to experience, that they can experience it in your presence safely. And so that's a question. These are the questions that you actually want to take a look at and actually answer honestly and say, if that's not um, where I am and what I'm doing, then I need to get myself together before I actually start trying to coach people. And I need to make sure that I can address all of these questions, right? And make sure that in addressing all of these questions, that I have positioned myself to actually be that transformational coach. That's one of the most rewarding type of coaching that I can tell you that for me that is great, because you actually get to see a person change from point A to point B to point C to point D. Whatever that goal is that they're striving for, you get to see that change occur. You get to see that them in that cocoon, and you get to see the transformation as it is occurring, as they're changing, coming out of that tight, cocoon type thing, and then blossoming into this beautiful butterfly. So, that's a great part of it. And that's a part that actually blesses your life. It's when you can actually see the person's life change right in front of you as their coach. So you want to make sure of that. So let's look at what transformation means. How is it defined? When we look at it from like a non-spiritual perspective, transforming your life is a process that begins from within and results in significant changes in you and in your life. It's hard to change you and your life doesn't change. So as you change, your life will change. You'll have a better life and you will enjoy your life more. So it goes from being awakened that there's something that needs to occur in your life. And then you learn how to do that, right? And in that learning process, when your mind is being renewed, you'll see yourself evolving. And then when you begin to evolve, transforming takes place. You're now evolving into that person that you desire or have a desire to become or a goal that you're trying to achieve. Maybe you want to be a nice person. Maybe you want to be uh, more positive in your life. And so when you're evolving into that, when you're following the transformation process, then you'll see the transformation takes place. And as it's taking place, you are becoming that person that you're supposed to be or you desire uh, to actually become. When we look at it from a biblical uh, transformation, biblically it is defined as this. The word that speaks to transformation, especially in Romans chapter 12, is metamorpho, which is a Greek word. So without going into a whole lot of details about that, it actually is denoting change of condition into form. It comes from two words: meta, which means change of condition, and the morpho, which means to form. Right. So you're changing. You're going from one condition and you're forming or becoming something better than what you were. So it refers to an invisible process in the Christians in Christians which take place or begins to take place during your life in this age. It's not going to happen when you get um, to heaven. We're talking about what's going on right now while you're living in the earth. So what is that like? There's an invisible process that is taking place on the inside of you that's going to manifest later on the outside of you. That is a confirmation that change has occurred in your life, and that is that metamorphosis type of transformation that Romans chapter 12 speaks about. And so let's look at Romans chapter 12, verses 1 and 2. The New International Version says it like this: Therefore, I urge you, brothers and sisters, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and pleasing to God. This is your true and proper worship. Verse 2: Do not conform to the patterns of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So we've all heard that scripture. We've heard it from the King James Version. We've heard it before from the New International Version. I want to look at it briefly from the Amplified Version and let you see what it says from the Amplified. It says, Therefore I urge you, brothers and sisters, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies. And what present your bodies means? Dedicating all of yourselves. That means that you're set apart. So it goes back to what I said. If you're going to be a transformational coach, the whole mind, body, and spirit has to be in the process or offering the service of coaching people. So it says to present your bodies, dedicating all of yourselves as a living sacrifice, holy and well pleasing to God, which is your rational, in other words, your logical, your intelligent act of worship, right? The Word of God already teaches us that with all of your getting, get an understanding. So you should not be coaching people from a place or from a position or a mindset where you don't understand either what you're doing as a coach or what you're talking about as a coach, right? So if you're going to be a coach to parents, then you know you can acquire that knowledge. So you need to study it, you need to research it, you need to do whatever you need to do to become intelligent, to become a logical thinker in the area that you want to coach in. In verse 2, it says, Do not be conformed to this world any longer with its superficial values and customs. Remember, we are in the world, but we're not of the world. But be transformed and progressively changed as you mature spiritually by the renewing of your mind, by focusing on godly values and ethical attitudes, right? So as a coach, your mind is being renewed as you're focusing on godly values. When I coach you, I'm going to coach you from my core being. And my core being are my godly values, what I believe about the Word of God, what I believe about God, with my faith in God. So I'm coaching you from the godly values that I focus on and the ethical attitude that I bring to the coaching session, that godly attitude that says that I'm a person of integrity, right? So when I bring all of that with me when I come to the coaching session, so that you may prove for yourselves what the will of God is, that which is good and acceptable and perfect, his plan and purpose for you, right? Anytime God is involved in your life, there's a purpose and a plan for you. Even when you're going through a transformation period, there is a purpose and plan for you to go in going through this process of becoming a transformational coach. Right? So it's important. Now let's look at it from the Message Bible. I love this one. It says, so here's what I want you to do. God helping you. Take your everyday, ordinary life, your sleeping, eating, going to work, and walking around life, and place it before God as an offering, right? Nothing that we do should not be already presented to God. If this is what you know you want to do, you have to present it to God and then commit to being um, a good steward over the gifts that He's given you. Embracing what God does for you is the best thing you can do for Him. Verse 2. Don't become so well adjusted to your culture that you fit into it without even thinking, right? How many times you've seen people fit into to being of the world, right? Christians being of the world and engaging in different practices and doing the way they do it and not adhering to what the Word of God says. It says, instead, fix your attention on God. You will be changed from the inside out. Readily recognize what He wants from you and quickly respond to it. Unlike the culture around you, always dragging you down to its level of immaturity, God brings the best out of you, develops well formed maturity in you. And that's a process you want to go through as you're transforming to be the best transformational coach that you can possibly be. Right? You want maturity, especially spiritual maturity. Because if you're coaching from that place, or you want to make sure that you are doing it the way God has assigned you to do it. And if you're coaching from an executive place or on the job, or maybe the nonprofit organization, or maybe with some type of company, then again you want to coach from the core values. What's the core of your being? You want to coach from that place and not just any place. So you want to make sure that you know what your core values are. What do you believe in? What do you believe about God? What do you believe about people? You don't have a good thought life about people. You don't think they can change. You don't think that there can be a transformation that occurs in people. Then it won't do you any good to be a life coach. But if you have negative thoughts and beliefs about people, you're not going to be the best people helper you could be. That's going to interfere in how you approach every session, how you approach people. Um, it'll affect what you say to people. So you want to make sure that you are healthy in your thinking toward people, and that you know what your core values are, what you believe. You want to make sure that it's strong in your spirit, what you believe. And so, in order to do that, you have to spend some time before you coach others. You have to spend some time in self coaching. You got to coach yourself, right? You can coach yourself, you can coach anybody, right? It's not as easy to coach yourself as it is to coach other people, right? Because when you coach yourself, you know if you're making an excuse. You know if you're coming up with something far-fetched about why you didn't do what you were supposed to do. So, and you know what's going on the inside of you better than anybody else knows what's going on the inside of you. So let's talk about self-coaching for a minute. Self-coaching is when it's based on the premise that no one knows you better than yourself, right? We all know ourselves better than other people, no matter what. There's always going to be something about us, or something that we're thinking, or that we've done, that we never tell anybody about. There's some things we actually keep private. We know our thoughts. We know our imaginations. We know, what's going on in our hearts. We know that better than anyone, than any other human being. Self-coaching is a way of cultivating your inner coach by building self-awareness and self-reflection. So if you can take yourself through the process of self-awareness, and if you can take yourself through the process of self-reflection, you can easily guide your coaching client into that same process because you've been through it. So when we talk about self-coaching, we're talking about the ability of to tap into your own inner wisdom and experiences to determine what is right or best for you. That's what that means, right? You want to see yourself as a work in progress as you move toward the habits and behaviors and ultimately the life that you want to live, you know, and this will help you take the necessary actions to do it. It's when you self coach. You can put your coaching skills into practice by coaching yourself. You can be an awesome, awesome coach when you can coach yourself. Because again, it's easy to skate over something, sweep something under the rug, not deal with it, and just look at all of those good aspects of who you are and put that out in the forefront and say, "Oh, I'm doing pretty good." The challenge is when you can tap into your own inner wisdom and your own experiences, and really be true and authentic to yourself and say, "Wait a minute, I need some change in this particular area. I need a transformation in this area. Before I do anything, let me take myself through this process." If you had a transformation uh, program that you were offering people, take yourself through the program first, or a course that you're offering, take yourself through the course first before you launch it to other people to make sure, number one, that you understand what you're even asking them to do. And then number two, you'll be able to say, I took my own course. I honestly and authentically took my own course. And so in taking my own course, I know if you follow these steps, that you are going to experience transformation in your life. And so you want to make sure that that's what you do. And then before we close, lastly, one of the last things that one of the other things that we talked about when you were self-coaching, there are two questions that I want you to write down and really become familiar with and ask yourself as you're going through this self-coaching process. And the questions are, what do I want? And then what do I really want? What do I want? What do I really want? Right? So, what do I want could be anything from material things, whatever. But when you get to the question, what do I really want? It's probably going to be more internalized. And if you're honest, you're going to look at yourself. You're going to be forced to think about your mindset, forced to think about how you feel about things, forced to think about what you're doing, forced to think about how you talk, how you hear things, what your perception is, what your perspective is on life. It all is going to come back to who you are as a person and who are you being. And is that going to be conducive and put you in a place where you can effectively and successfully do transformational coaching in whatever genre that you're doing it in? So the questions are, what do I want? And then what do I really want? Those are the questions that you want to ask. And so remember, this is just a little snapshot of what we talked about earlier today. We talked about a lot more than that. I just wanted to give you a snapshot of it. And if you want to join us from days 2 through 5, you still can go and register. The registration link is in the description of this live stream, and it's also strolling at the bottom here. And so you can actually go to that page and register for the rest of the week so that you don't miss anything. But each night I'll do a light, brief recap from each day so that you can see what you're missing and what the other people are actually learning on the 5-day challenge. So head on over to this page, sign up, get on the list, register for it, get on the list so that you can receive the emails to log in and come on with us. We're actually doing a private Zoom session for each of these 5 days. So we had an awesome time this morning. It's at 8 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Eastern time. And so we're on right at about an hour with it. And it's interactive. So when you come, be prepared to actually engage and be a part of the whole process of this 5-day challenge. So thank you, everybody, for joining me for this encore teaching, this presentation. I hope to see a lot of you on tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Remember, God bless you. Take care. I'm Minister Ginger London, your Diamond Life Coach Challenge host and the owner of GingerLondon.com. Take care, everybody. Good night.